Hello and welcome to another episode of the Nicolas Idoko channel. I'm Nicolas Idoko, a software engineer and founder of Nicolas Idoko Technologies. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you why every serious Nigerian business today needs a custom web application and how it can literally change the game for their growth, their operations, customer experience, and all that good stuff. So I have been internalizing lately. I've been doing some projects but in a more relaxed way. And I don't know if you've been following the previous episodes. These things usually happen to me where I if I'm relaxed, I want to do as many projects as possible. And if I am working on as many projects as possible, I want to just relax a bit. But I'm deciding to change the game a little bit. I'm working now on my branding. I think for the past 12 years, I've not really worked on branding. And recently, I started working on my branding. Okay. And that would require me running ads, Facebook, Google, trying to put the name out there and if possible, also get clients. I feel hungry again. I feel hungrier to, push the next step forward. I don't want to feel too relaxed, you know even though today we are discussing why every business needs a custom web app. I'm kind of enlightening those that have been following me from the past episodes that I am stepping my feet on the pedal, on the gas now. All right. So if you're a business owner and you do not have a website or an app, I think you need to pay close attention to this, okay? Because many businesses actually lose a lot of revenue by doing things the bold way, with pen and paper and trying to pass through using Excel sheets and try and use documents. Or maybe they have a simple site, but it's kind of basic. It does not automate the process. The reason why is because AI would wipe all those businesses away. If you don't have automation in one way or the other right now, if you're having a website but it is not automated one way or the other, you are actually going to be left behind. So I'm going to give you an instance, and this is the project we just completed here. It was for a hospital in Lagos. Okay, they are doctors, it's a private hospital. They are doctors and they are nurses and everything. They were doing everything with paper. So they reached out to us that is there a way we can automate it for them such that they have the ability to, the main issue was that the owner of the business was not actually in town. He was not even in the country, but he is always finding it difficult knowing what is going on in his business, which is obviously the hospital, which was strange to me because he's not actually a doctor, but he employs doctors. In fact, his co-owner or is actually a doctor, but I think he's the one really in charge, you know. And they reached out to me that they wanted to find a way to make it in such a way that they, wherever they are, using their mobile phone, they can know everything that is going on in the hospital. Okay. And we had to go to Lagos, to the hospital to do functional spec, which means they paid us to go there and look at their entire process, see what they are currently doing manually, and figure out how we can make it both online and automate some of the processes. And I won't lie, this is one of the most fun projects I've had in the past 2, 3 years because there are so many things that I envisioned. And when I tell the client or the owner of the hospital that I think this and this is going to work better, they just tell me go ahead. It's been so long I had a client that allowed me to really look into their business, see all the loopholes, and try and fix all those loopholes. Now, when before I started working on the software, when they were doing things manually, I noticed that they I'm not going to obviously state their profits, but let's say their profits at the end of the month is 10 naira, for example. Yeah. And after we finished the website and everything and we launched it, we also added a lot of automations, because there are situations whereby if they want to reach out to a patient, let's say for follow-up care, they have to either call the patient or they have to send SMS to the person. That's manually. It was actually somebody's job. But now with the way we did the app, the software, when the patient is done visiting the doctor, obviously all the doctors in the hospital now have laptops. There is no pen and paper. So they write their notes, they write all those their vital checks and all those good stuff. And they schedule a day to reach out to the client, um, a day before the day, or they can schedule a week. So they can set how they want to notify the patient, that is their patient, to come back to the hospital for follow-up care. And all this is done automatically. Now, there is no need for somebody to actually be sending out SMS or calls. And we did it in such a way whereby it's sending out WhatsApp message, and it is also sending out email, and to also send out SMS. And obviously, the doctor can decide which of those platforms they want to send the notification to, which obviously the patient provides to the doctor. Okay, so that goes in automatically. Now, one of the parts that actually to me I felt like, and it was actually my suggestion, but I felt like it was the crown jewel of the entire software, was when we came to invoicing, receipts, the billing, the transactions, that aspect. Wow. It was a chaos when we got there, when we are trying to do functional spec. When I mean chaos, it was horrible because the invoicing, they were not really keeping track of it. Some of the invoices, they don't even know where they are. So they always struggle to know, okay, this invoice is for who, this receipt is for who, but with the app, with the software now, all invoicing is actually documented. And I did all these things, but I also didn't know that the end result of this was it helped them so much in determining the tax they had to pay to Lagos state government and the federal FIRS, because when we are done, we actually had to pass it through the accountant, and the accountant gave us the formula, which we encoded into the software that was able to help make the work of the accountant so much easier. Because I remember when we got there, the accountant was complaining that the work was a lot and he needs somebody like an assistant that can help him do the accounting process, especially the menial works like finding this invoice and this receipt, and there's one they call performer or something. And with the software now, everything is so much easier. They can actually manage everything from that software. The accountant has his dashboard, the doctor has his dashboard, the nurse has his or her dashboard. There is even a dashboard for the janitors. There is a dashboard for ancillary. I actually learned a lot building the software. I won't even lie, I didn't know there are so many roles in the medical field. There was a dashboard for radiography, and right now the client, which is my own client, is now even looking at expanding the business because we've launched that business now for like, I think it was January, and this is April. And I was privileged to look at the dashboard recently because the client reached out back to me that he wants to do another software like this for another hospital, that he has in Abuja. And when I looked at the dashboard, what I saw was marvelous because I saw that their monthly revenue, because you could easily see it if you have an administrator access, was 10x from what it was when we started. So it still goes to, because in that software we also accounted for salaries, payments, and bonuses. There's even a calendar for those that are taking work leave, sick leave, for leave, and all those stuff. Even appointments is there. So it just got me thinking, and I was like, really, every business now should not be doing manual at this point, because now this software has helped this client streamline this business. And he's looking at buying another hospital. I don't know if he's buying or he's constructing or doing another one, but he's trying to set up another one in Abuja and use this same software. Now, imagine if you own a medical practice and you are not actually looking into setting up your own software, your own app for your own business. The people that have that software are definitely going to beat you in that race. It's not even going to be a question. So that's all I just have to share for you guys today. And to wrap up, if you're seriously, because that's our business, seriously, if you're serious about growing your business using software, that's what we do. We actually develop web, mobile app, and software applications. Okay. It would help improve your efficiency. That's one. It will help you scale. Just like I said, the client is looking at setting up another business in Abuja. And it sets you apart because everybody that comes to that hospital now is always like, wow, no pen and paper. That was one of the reviews I was getting from my connection back there, at the hospital after we left from functional spec. He was telling me that people are amazed that there is no need for this pen and paper. And most importantly, their patient records are actually up to date for real. It's no longer where they are looking for this and that and that, you know. So reach out to me if you are looking to build a software such as this or any software at all. Okay. All right. There. Thank you and bye bye.